An unprecedented global economic calamity could be just hours away. It hinges now on those who sparked the crisis. U.S. lawmakers, infighting between them has brought the world's richest nation to the brink of default. Perianne Boring reports on some of those worst hit by the deadlock.
We are here now at the World War II Memorial, where the military coalition just held a press conference. They're calling on Congress and President Obama to strike a deal and to end the government shutdown. Now, the military coalition is a group of 33 service member and veterans organizations. They represent about 5.5 million people. This includes the active service, veterans, retirees, and their families. Now, the president signed into law the Pay Our Military Act on September 30th, just hours before the government shut down. This bill was supposed to ensure that our active military members would continue to get paid if the government did in fact shut down. But the bill didn't include a lot of programs that military members and veterans rely on. Now, I spoke with Gary Augustine. He's from the Disabled Veterans Association, and he explains exactly what's going on there.
Many veterans, especially veterans who are injured or ill because of their military service, that's all the income that they have coming in every month. Without those benefits being paid, they won't be able to pay mortgage, they won't be able to pay their utility bills, many of them won't be able to put food on their table. So that is catastrophic for many of them.
Now, another issue that's surrounding D.C. right now is the debt limit. And what a lot of people don't understand here is that if we hit the limit without reaching it, without extending it, we're not going to automatically default on the debt. What would happen at that time if we don't raise the debt ceiling is the government would have to start prioritizing payments. The Treasury brings in about $200 billion per month in revenue. Our interest payments are close to around $20 billion. So there's plenty of cash on hand to make our interest payments, but there's not enough money to pay for all government programs. Now, earlier I spoke with Jonathan Manguel. He's facing very tough financial decisions right now. He doesn't know if he can pay his rent. He doesn't know if he can pay tuition. He's prioritizing payments.
As a civilian employee, I'm not able to work, collect my salary. As a drilling reservist, I'm not able to drill, collect drill pay, and as a full-time student, my GI Bill payment may not go through on the 1st of November. So it's been an entire kind of income loss. Well, of course I can't travel or do anything or visit family out of town, so right now I'm just in a holding pattern on paying the rent and eating. So.
The military coalition has said that Congress and the president are using the military as pawns and that the shutdown is jeopardizing our military readiness. And while we're at war, it jeopardizes our security to fund the military on a piecemeal basis. And as you can see, it's causing a lot of people to fall through the cracks. In Washington, D.C., Perianne Boring, RT.
Failure to raise the debt ceiling will not necessarily mean an immediate default. The U.S. has plenty of cash reserves and can also cut social, military, and government budgets to pay off creditors. Dr. William Wilson, an economist with a think tank in Russia's high-tech hub Skolkovo, says he believes a default to be unlikely.
Probability of default is almost zero. I mean, never say never. But the fact is, if a default were to occur later this week, the results would be catastrophic. You'd see the credit markets freeze up. We're talking about $16.7 trillion worth of government debt. This would be the largest default in the history of the world. And it would freeze up the financial system like you saw in 2008, except this time it would be a lot worse. The U.S. debt market is the core and central of the global financial system, and under no condition could they let that shut down.
The debt of the United States now stands at just under $17 trillion, an astonishing sum that's growing by about $1 trillion a year. Economist and academic Lou Rockwell told us that excessive debt only empowers the elite.
The idea that the whole world is sustained by growing American debt, that there has to be more and more borrowing in order to, make everybody prosperous, it doesn't work, by the way. Unemployment rates are at horrific rates all over the rest of the Western world. None of us feel comfortable economically. We're all worried about the future. The government is harming us. So the idea that less government is somehow harmful, it's just the reverse. This is, of course, Keynesianism, that we have to have more government, more spending, more debt perpetually, and that'll make us all wealthy. No, it doesn't. It helps the banksters. It helps the government, helps the military-industrial complex, and all the big companies associated with the government. It hurts regular people. If they really are worried about, they don't have enough money, why don't they shut down the NSA and stop spying on everybody? Why don't they bring the troops home from Afghanistan and Iraq and Yemen and Pakistan and all the rest of these places? Stop killing people. That would save $1 quadrillion. That would solve all the budget problems. That's my advice to Mr. Obama.